Welcome to Mr. Vin TV, your go-to source for self-improvement and personal growth. Today, we delve into a vital skill, navigating difficult conversations. Whether it's a heated debate with a coworker or a tense discussion with a family member, these scenarios can be daunting. But fear not, mastering the art of handling these conversations is not as elusive as it seems. It's crucial in fostering healthy relationships, achieving professional success, and enhancing personal growth. Stay tuned as we delve into the first way to navigate difficult conversations. First off, approach every challenging conversation with empathy. Now, why is empathy so important? Well, it's all about understanding. It's about putting yourself in the other person's shoes and seeing things from their perspective. It's about realizing that their feelings are just as valid as yours, and that they have their own reasons for thinking and feeling the way they do. Empathy isn't about agreeing with the other person or letting them walk all over you. No, it's about acknowledging their feelings and showing them that you understand, or at least that you're trying to understand. This approach can help the other person feel heard and valued, which can go a long way in avoiding unnecessary conflicts. So before you dive into that difficult conversation, take a moment, think about the other person, their feelings, their perspective, try to understand where they're coming from. Remember, empathy is your first tool in navigating difficult conversations. Secondly, clarity and conciseness are key. It's essential to understand your own thoughts and feelings before entering into a difficult conversation. This allows you to articulate your point of view in a clear and precise manner, reducing the chances of any misunderstanding. Imagine trying to navigate through a dense fog with no compass or map. You'd end up lost, right? The same is true for conversations. If your thoughts are muddled and your words are vague, the conversation can quickly become confusing and unproductive. On the other hand, being concise is equally important. It's not just about reducing the length of your statements, but stripping them down to their most essential meaning. This means avoiding unnecessary jargon, repetition, and overly complex sentences. Remember, the goal isn't to impress with your vocabulary, but to communicate effectively. By being clear and concise, you offer the best chance of your message being received as intended. Being clear and concise can make a world of difference in a tough conversation. Thirdly, active listening is crucial. Now, what does this mean? It's more than just hearing what the other person is saying. It involves fully engaging, showing that you're not just hearing, but truly understanding their perspective. Let's break it down. Active listening is about absorbing the words, processing them, and giving thoughtful responses. It's about picking up the subtle cues in the conversation that might reveal deeper emotions. It involves validating the other person's feelings, showing them that their viewpoint is valued even if you don't agree. This doesn't mean you should stay silent. Reflect back what you've heard, ask clarifying questions, and show empathy. This shows you're invested in the conversation and it helps to build trust. By practicing active listening, you're not just waiting for your turn to speak, you're making sure the conversation is a two-way street. And remember, active listening can turn a potentially explosive conversation into a productive one. Fourthly, maintaining your calm is important. Now let's delve into why this is so vital. In the midst of challenging dialogues, it's easy to let our emotions take the driver's seat. However, this can lead to escalation, causing the conversation to spiral out of control. When you're calm, you're better equipped to think clearly and respond effectively. You can take a step back and evaluate the situation objectively. Remember, the goal here isn't to win an argument or prove a point. It's about understanding each other and finding common ground. It's also important to note that staying calm doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It's about managing them in a way that's constructive. Breathe deeply, take a moment if you need to, and keep your tone and body language relaxed. This not only helps you, but it also fosters an environment where the other person feels more comfortable and less defensive. Staying calm can help you keep the conversation on track. Fifthly, steer clear of the blame game. In the heat of a difficult conversation, it's all too easy to point fingers and lay blame. However, this approach rarely leads to resolution. Instead, it often escalates the situation, creating a defensive atmosphere that hinders constructive conversation. Blame is like a hot potato that no one wants to hold on to, and it gets tossed around, causing more harm than good. It's important to remember that everyone involved in the conversation has their perspective, and everyone's viewpoint is valid. Instead of focusing on who's at fault, try to understand the other person's point of view. This approach fosters a sense of mutual respect and understanding, which can pave the way towards a solution. So, the next time you find yourself in a difficult conversation, remember to leave the blame at the door. Avoiding blame can facilitate a smoother conversation. Next up, always seek to understand. Now, this is a fundamental principle in navigating difficult conversations. Before jumping to conclusions or reacting, it's crucial to understand the other person's perspective. This isn't just about hearing their words. It's about comprehending their emotions, their motivations, and the context that frames their viewpoint. Let's picture this. You're in a heated discussion and you feel the urge to interject, to counter, to argue. But instead, you pause, you ask questions, you delve deeper. You don't just listen, you seek to understand. This approach changes the dynamic. It shifts the conversation from a battlefield to a bridge where ideas can cross and meet. Remember, understanding doesn't mean you have to agree. It simply means acknowledging the validity of another person's perspective. This reduces defensiveness, opens up a space for empathy, and paves the way for finding common ground. Seeking to understand helps foster more constructive conversations. Eighthly, make good use of I statements. This strategy is a small shift in language that can have a big impact on your conversations. Instead of saying you, which can come off as accusatory, use I to express how you feel. This way, you're taking ownership of your feelings and not putting the blame on the other person. Let's say, for instance, you're in a meeting where your ideas are constantly being overlooked. Instead of saying, you never listen to my ideas, try, I feel like my ideas aren't being heard. This small change can significantly alter the tone of the conversation, making it less confrontational and more constructive. I statements also encourage empathy. When you express your feelings, it provides an opportunity for the other person to see things from your perspective. This can open doors to understanding and compromise, rather than escalating conflict. Remember, it's not about blaming the other person, but about expressing your feelings and perspectives. I statements can help you express your feelings more effectively. Ninthly, be open to feedback. Now, this can be a tough one. It's human nature to become defensive when someone criticizes us or points out our shortcomings. But remember, feedback can be a powerful tool for personal and professional growth if we allow it to be. Think of it this way. Feedback is like a compass, guiding you towards improvement. When you're navigating difficult conversations, it's essential to listen, truly listen, to what the other person is saying. They may have a perspective you haven't considered or insights that could help you grow. Remember, feedback isn't a personal attack, it's an opportunity. It's an invitation to evolve, to better yourself, and to strengthen your relationships. So embrace it, welcome it, use it as a stepping stone towards becoming a better version of yourself. Being open to feedback can turn a difficult conversation into a learning opportunity. So let's make the most of these opportunities, shall we? Lastly, remember to practice patience. Just as a sculptor chisels away at a block of marble with patience and determination, so too must we approach difficult conversations. Patience is not simply waiting, it's an active engagement with the passage of time. It's the understanding that not all things can be resolved instantly, and allowing the other party the space to express their thoughts and feelings. When we practice patience, we let go of the need for immediate resolution. We give ourselves the permission to process, to think, to reflect, and ultimately to grow. We also allow the other person the same courtesy. When we are patient, we create an environment that encourages open and honest communication. We foster mutual respect and understanding. It's not always easy, and it often requires us to put our immediate needs and desires aside. But remember, in the grand scheme of things, patience can turn a heated argument into a constructive conversation. Patience can be your greatest ally in navigating difficult conversations. That brings us to the end of our discussion on navigating difficult conversations. We've covered a lot of ground today, so let's take a moment to recap. We started by emphasizing the importance of empathy. Putting yourself in the other person's shoes can not only help you understand their perspective, but also make them feel heard and valued. Next, we talked about the importance of being clear and concise. It's crucial to express your thoughts and feelings in a way that's easy to understand to avoid any potential misunderstandings. Active listening was our third point. It's not just about hearing the words, but understanding the emotions and intentions behind them. We then discussed the importance of staying calm. Keeping a level head can prevent the conversation from escalating into an argument. Avoiding blame was our fifth point. It's more productive to focus on the issue at hand rather than pointing fingers. We also explored the concept of seeking to understand. By asking questions and showing curiosity, you can help the other person feel more comfortable sharing their thoughts and feelings. Our eighth point was about the power of I statements. They can help you express your feelings without making the other person feel attacked. Being open to feedback was next. It's important to remember that a conversation is a two-way street, and we can always learn from others. Lastly, we discussed the importance of patience. Difficult conversations take time, and it's important to give the process the time it needs. So, these were the 10 ways to navigate difficult conversations. Remember to subscribe to Mr. Vin TV for more insightful content. Thank you for watching.